Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to take care of a few things before we jump into this week's episode. First, our Ramping Isometrics for BJJ program. It is a 12-week program, all laid out for you. It's going to help you build strength and cardio in the fastest, safest, and most convenient way possible. This is how James and I have been training for the past year, and we love it. So we put this program together so you can just follow along, and we are certain you will see and feel the benefits that we do. It's only $15. Just go to grumpyguybjj.com, click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll find it. Next, R3. This is our K2 D3 supplement. It is a combination of those two vitamins, D3 and K2. These are two vitamins that James and I have been taking for a long time that really help us recover from hard training sessions. And for only $15 with free shipping, you get a whole month's supply. I was going to pull up some studies explaining the benefits of D3 and K2, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend to be a fucking scientist. I take it. It helps me recover. That's it. So for $15, check it out. And last but certainly not least, we have partnered up with Jiu-Jitsu.com. They have a ton of awesome BJJ instructionals, and they have hooked us up with a discount code for our listeners. It's Grumpy10. So what you got to do is you go to Jiu-Jitsu.com, which is DIGITSU.com. Find the instructionals you want, throw them in a shopping cart. In the little discount code box, you type in Grumpy10, which is just GRUMPY and the number 10. 10. That's it. No spaces. Boom. You get 10% off. You're up and running. They got a nice app you can download on your phone. That way you can take your instructionals right to the gym with you, watch the technique, drill it. It's a pretty sweet setup. So once again, DIGITSU.com. Discount code Grumpy10, GRUMPY10. Simple as that. To find all this stuff I just got done talking about, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com. Click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner. There, you'll subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates. You'll find links for the Ramping Isos program, the R3 Recovery Supplement, and then under the Programs and Products tab, you'll find a link to Jiu-Jitsu.com. And let's be honest, if you guys can't figure out how to navigate a website by now, there's nothing I can do to help you. So quit fucking around, check it out, train hard, and let's get into this week's episode. 3 and boom.
Okay.
Here we are.
Back again.
Sunday morning.
So this is the second podcast in a row that's kind of on an unusual day. Last one was leap year. It was the 29th.
It was.
And this weekend
is Daylight Savings Time. So are we in Daylight Savings Time now, or did it end?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm asking?
Yeah.
I forget how it goes.
I have no idea. No clue.
It's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It should just be, we should do away with it.
And the history of it is a little muddled. Like, if you look it up, you find different people telling you different reasons why it's a thing.
I'm sure it was multifaceted.
But yeah, there's definitely more than one story.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, yeah, at the heart of it, though, a lot of the stories are centered around it being better for agriculture.
Business, so to speak. Yep, yeah, agriculture.
You got longer days during the summer
when
you want to be out harvesting shit.
Yeah.
And then you got shorter days in the winter when it's getting dark and you can't go out anyways. And so, like, logically, it makes sense. Like, during the summer, adjusting the time so it's a little bit longer so you're able to take advantage of the... because, I mean, if we didn't make the adjustment, I mean... It would be, so what, this is 9 o'clock. So, I mean, it would be like fucking 8 o'clock. What would it be? Oh, my time math. Because, at night, it gets where, like, it'll be daylight still at 9 o'clock at night.
Yep. For a little bit.
Yeah. And so, if we didn't make that adjustment, then that would be at 8 o'clock.
Right.
And not 9 o'clock. And so... It's, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to use that time the same.
I think we'd be okay.
I know we'd be okay.
I'm
but I'm just saying, like, to someone it made sense. Like, someone at some point,
and he convinced enough other
people that just rock solid logic as to like why this made sense.
I can see it being some character like you.
Yeah, for sure.
Back whenever this started, back in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Some James Wilson-esque character, probably one of your fucking ancestors.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it, man.
I can see it. Like,
I can see
like,
that.
yeah, I can see it. Like, you had some reason your
I just see it, man. I see what
Jebediah
no one else
Wilson.
sees.
Jebediah Wilson thought it was a good idea.
We would unleash the productivity of our country if we could just adjust the time to reflect the productivity needs of the season.
That's right.
Bam! I'm already selling it.
Exactly, and you convinced the other people in your village, or your great-great-great-grandfather did.
Yep.
And here we are.
Here we are, all this time later.
Yep.
So, yeah, I wouldn't... it's probably something really silly. There's a lot of silly shit. You know, the whole not having mail delivered on Sunday had its origins in fundamental Christian, like Sunday is the day of rest, and it is bad that the government is delivering mail on Sundays.
I assumed that was the reason. Like, I don't know the reason for a fact, but if I had to come up with one, you put me on the spot.
But originally there was Sunday mail delivery, like back in the...
Was there?
Oh yeah, back in the early...
Yeah, I can see that.
Early 1900s, late 1800s, and then there was a movement to have it. It was like 1912 when it finally, like, Sunday mail delivery was done away with. But yeah, it was 7 days a week, and then a movement started because it was wrong to on the God's day of rest to be delivering mail. And so like the government was influenced by it. Like there were, you know, I guess back they didn't have those names, but like today we call them lobby groups, right?
It was all about the votes.
Yeah.
You got to keep the voters happy.
Yep. Yeah.
And religious folks were a big part of the society.
Yeah, and they'd vote people in. Yep. And so that was the thing that people were debating in the halls of Congress.
And they're back to delivering on Sundays now.
They are.
It's just Amazon packages.
Mm-hmm.
I deliver to the post office on a regular basis. I have pallets full of mail that I drop off at our local post office branches here.
Yeah.
And so I know some of the guys that work there. And it started not too long ago, probably within the past year or so. I remember asking him, cause I saw something about it, and then all the pallets and pallets of shit I just unload there. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's basically just due to all we deliver on Sundays is the Amazon packages. Yeah, we don't deliver your junk mail or most of the other shit.
That's usually it. Yeah, just something gets thrown on my porch. Something gets delivered on Sunday.
Yep. But yeah, so the post office people were back to working on Sundays because
people's expectations have changed.
God ended it, and then Jeff Bezos brought it back.
That's right. That's right. The new God.
The God of our era.
That's right.
Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
Fucking money.
Yep.
Always. Because that's what, people's expectations have changed, and if you don't stay with it. So, God, I wonder what that, like, was that, like, voluntary, or was that, like, Amazon, like, leaning on the government? I mean, because the U.S. Postal Service is basically the government.
Right.
So... I mean, are you leaning on the government? Like saying, hey, man.
I know. I mean, there could have been that. I mean, because, Amazon's got so much money.
Or they just said, fuck it, we're going to flood them and force them to do it. Like, they're going to have so much work on Monday.
That's where I was going with it. It's more of a survival thing for the post office, just because all the carriers are just so overwhelmed.
On Mondays, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, man, we got to hire some part-time people that come in and work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And that's all they do. And then we have other carriers that work Monday through Thursday or whatever.
That's funny.
So yeah, there's just so much. Dude, we do so much shopping online. Like, dude, for example, I ordered a couple things. I kind of ran out, just some basic household items. Like on Friday, I kind of ran out. I remember I was about to run out. And so while I was in the middle of doing something else, I just picked up my phone and just went to Amazon. Like one click, boom, and it's showing up today. Yeah. I don't have to go to the grocery store, no nothing.
No.
It's free to show up. It's the same price, if not cheaper than it is at the grocery store. I don't have to make a trip. And it'll be at my house on Sunday.
Yeah.
Less than 48 hours from when I hit click.
It's fucking crazy.
It is insane.
It's
pretty sweet.
It is sweet, man. It's convenient as hell.
So convenient.
Convenient as hell.
Yeah.
But, man, that's funny. That just even gets us even more disconnected, though, from the food supply. Like, if you don't even have to go out and shop for it. Like, I forget. I was reading somewhere or something, like somebody was saying that, here's my buddy Mark, my accountability buddy. He was, he's a registered dietitian and like habit building is one of his his things, and he was saying that this is why it's important that people have something. They make something, like whether it's kombucha or bread or you pickle something, but like we're so far removed from our food supply. You know, now you say like now we don't even have to go to the grocery store. It just shows up at our house. And it's not necessarily good, like, you know, maintaining, as a human being, maintaining some sort of contact and remembering, like, you know, this, it doesn't just magically appear on my porch.
It does, though.
No. Yeah, I mean, you can say that, for sure.
No, but there's a lot of things that transpire.
Yeah, but it's made, you know what I mean? Like, it's an actual product that's made and processed and, you know, and all the other things.
Right.
And so... like, just, it's so easy for us to forget about that. And then you don't think about, like, oh, yeah, well, then there's different levels of quality to this as well. And it's just, it's easy to let it all, dude, it amazes me. Again, like I talk about, you know, just my contact with other families through Shiloh and her friends. But how common just eating out is. Like, just grabbing something on the way home. Like, oh, yeah, we're doing dinner tonight. What do you guys want? Applebee's? You know, Outback Steakhouse. What are we grabbing on the way home? And that's
is that pretty common?
Fucking super common.
Is it?
It's super common. Yeah.
We are removed from the quote unquote norm.
Yeah, you don't even have to cook it anymore. You just go and now you got Grubhub. They'll just deliver it.
Whatever restaurant you want.
Yeah.
They'll deliver McDonald's.
Yeah. Yep.
You have hit, I gotta say, man.
The rockiest of bottoms.
Yeah, dude. I don't really know if I could be friends with you, man. If you're the type of person that's sitting at home and you are getting McDonald's delivered to your house. Like, I'm going to judge you harshly for that.
Yeah.
I am.
I mean, you need some context, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to judge someone harshly for that. Like, you shouldn't be eating that shit anyways.
You shouldn't be eating it anyways.
And then you can't even get yourself out of your house to go get it. And you're getting it delivered.
You don't even have to put your pants on, man. You don't even have to put up your I give up on life pants. Like the people that just wear their jammy pants or sweatpants everywhere. That's just like they've given up. I give up on life pants. And they don't even have to. They just have to answer the door in those now. They don't even have to grace everybody with their presence in them. Which
you don't even have to answer the door. You can just type a note into your Grubhub driver. Please leave on step.
That's right.
Because I'm sure you pay all on that.
That's right.
I've never used it. But
dude, now they've got it where Amazon will open your fucking garage and put your packages. Is it Amazon or UPS or somebody? One of the delivery services you can give them access to your garage.
To prevent package theft.
Yeah, keep them from sitting on the front porch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't even have to answer the fucking door. You just leave them in the garage. So.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this. I shouldn't record myself saying this because I'm breaking my company's rules, but I do that a lot at work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of customers that'll be like, yeah, I'm not going to be there, but here's the garage code. Just, wheel it in here, this or that.
So you guys don't do it officially?
Yeah, we're not supposed to,
Yeah, but you get like,
Yeah.
All right.
And they got the ears.
All right. Well, good job, man.
Pokemon update, huh?
Better strategy with it.
Okay, so this card is a Zweilous.
That's pretty sweet.
It does 30 damage and 60 plus damage. The attacks are headbutt and double hit. Under double hit, it says flip 2 coins. This attack does 60 damage for each heads.
It also says the two heads don't get along.
Yeah, it says the two heads do not get along. Whichever head eats more than the other gets to be the leader.
That's a good way to sort it out.
That is a good way. It's probably, yep.
I could see if I had two heads, they'd probably argue with each other.
Yeah.
I have one head and I argue with myself.
Exactly. That's just a physical manifestation of my reality.
Actually, if you're arguing with yourself, it is still arguing. It could. If you were arguing with your second head, you would still be arguing with yourself.
You would.
Yep. So we had some big news in jiu-jitsu this week, huh? What did we start doing at the end of class?
We started doing dodgeball.
Sweet.
Yes.
Dodgeball's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, we went and bought the official dodgeballs. So
And
it's right on the
also-
ball.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they like a foam?
Yeah, they had some at Grand Valley there.
Oh, yep,
But,
yep.
Yeah,
I know what you're
so
talking
they're
about.
good. They're hard
Perfect.
enough to where you can throw them hard, but
You got enough weight to where they go where
they'll
you
go
intend
right.
for the
But man,
most
if you
part.
take one square in the face, like it's not gonna
hurt.
And they don't break through windows.
No, that's
Yeah,
a good
that's
thing.
an important thing too, because we got some windows in there. So
that is
was,
an important thing.
Yeah, if that place didn't have windows, then it would just be all dark.
Yep.
yes, it's definitely better with windows, but we had to make sure
Yeah.
we had some balls that
It
would.
did not break glass.
Yeah, so yeah, it's lots of fun, man. The kids do a good job with it, and it's I actually started doing it 5 minutes of dodgeball for the adults for warm up.
Nice.
It's amazingly intense.
It's fun, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that our room is small enough to where the games are quick. There's nowhere to hide.
No.
You might dodge one or two, but you better
You're
be
getting
dead
hit.
accurate or you're getting hit. Yeah.
getting hit.
So you get like 3 or 4 games in, and it's like, all right,
We're
I'm warmed up.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, man. Anything else?
Yes, I'll tell you what the weakness of it is in the resistance.
All right, man. Good.
Okay, so the weakness is fighting types.
Okay.
The weakness is fighting types. It does 2.
Then we don't need all those details.
Okay,
brother.
and the resistance is psychic.
Okay.
Sweet.
And what is its rarity? Is it super rare?
It's
rare?
an uncommon, which
It's an uncommon.
means you don't see it a lot.
Okay. All right, man. Well,
Thanks, dude.
Anything else about anything other than the Pokemon card? I think we've updated that card pretty well. I think we could.
Oh yeah, and I got another stripe on my green white belt.
Right.
Did you this
You
week?
did. Congratulations.
Awesome, dude. How many stripes you got now?
2.
Guess what? I got a stripe on my belt yesterday.
That's right. Congratulations, Coach Rob.
Pretty
And
sweet,
Rob-
huh?
Wait, how many more stripes do you need to be a Quirrell belt?
A million.
A million.
A million.
It's
I'll
no,
probably never get there, buddy.
no
Well,
one knows.
If I ever know if I'll live long enough to see that.
Yeah. Coral belt doesn't exist for all intents and purposes. Like black belt, it's like, man, if you make it past black belt, like that's just icing on the cake. So it's once you get to black belt, it's pretty much. I mean, I don't know how you look at it.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, there's a level after that.
No.
Like they tell me there is, cool, but I'm not like thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think anyone's going in like, dude, I'm getting my coral belt, bro.
No.
Yeah.
No one's ever thinking that.
No. So.
So
Anyway,
that's it. Yep, black belt and I got a stripe, buddy.
takes 3 years to get a stripe. A black belt.
Yeah, 3 years. So now I'm not going to get another stripe for another 3 years.
Takes about a month as a kid to get a stripe. So.
yeah, at our gym, if I make it, the kids have to make it in 1 month of class without them being sick to get a stripe.
Well, every month. I mean, a month is roughly 8 classes. So that's not. I mean, if you miss, it's 8 classes.
You got to make 8 classes.
Yeah. If you don't miss a class during the month, then
it's a month.
Then that's a month's worth.
Right.
But we got some kids that take. You don't do that to your card. They take a little longer because they got some other things going on, or one of the kids has basketball, so he's only able to make it in once a week. But he shows up, man. Rule number 1 or thing number 1 for our free to BJJ code.
Show up.
Yep,
That's a tough one sometimes.
it is.
But once you're there, you're good.
I was only sick there twice.
Yeah, you missed class on Monday because you were just a little sick. Your eye was not looking so hot.
I think I had allergies.
Something. So, right on, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate the update.
Bye.
All right, dude. We'll see you later.
See you in a bit.
See you.
All right.
All right.
Pokemon update.
I don't think we were talking about anything important.
No. We're talking about Amazon
Oh, yeah. Taking over the world
delivering packages
on Sundays and blah, blah, blah.
Just weird shit. So,
As usual. So,
yes.
I texted you yesterday. My HRV yesterday was 96. That's
Yeah.
the highest I've ever seen it. So I remember I watched, Joel Jameson's video on
presentation
on HRV.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. He touched on like, what if your HRV? Because I mean that's high. Like generally, like leading up for the past 2 weeks, I've been usually mid to high 70s, 80s. It's like on the high end, I've seen like mid 80s. On the low end, 60s, mid 60s, mid to high 60s. Generally, it's higher 70s. If I really looked at it. But man, yesterday, I mean, my recovery wasn't high. My recovery was 46% or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, my HRV 96.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but I was like, huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things he touched on in there was that HRVs, it's more your recovery score. So going up or down isn't necessarily good or bad. It's the degree of change compared to your baseline. And so, like, if you're usually, 75, right? Like, that's your average. And then you wake up one day and you're 65. Like, that's...
a signal.
A signal, right. And then, but so is the other. Like, if you wake up one day and you're 95. And so, but it's more the trends over long term. And so, one, you'd like to see your HRV trend going up, or at least staying steady, because that's an indicator of cardiovascular health and some other things as well, is just like recovery. So it's kind of more look at that trend. And so, if you had like a one-off spike, but if you see a trend towards like, oh, my HRV scores are starting to trend higher, well, that's an indication that you're
improving your health.
Yeah, you're actually getting like more cardiovascularly fit from it, or so I would say like just treat it more as like, okay, that's interesting.
But that's about it.
That's about it.
Put it in that box.
Yeah. And then, if you had a training day yesterday, which I mean, like if you're going in the weight room or whatever, because that's what a lot of that stuff is for, conditioning workouts and strength training. If you had a hard workout plan, it wouldn't be necessarily the 96, it'd be the 46, right? Like that's why you get the recovery score, and it's not always higher is good. It's like, compared to your baseline, that 96 indicates that your body is still dealing with stress.
Whatever I gave it.
Yeah. And so you would want to meter back a little bit what you're doing with your, training that day. But, as far as like the long term, it's just like, that's interesting. See what the trends turn out to be. And just on like a day-to-day basis, you're just using it to kind of make sure you're in the sweet spot for your effort level compared to where your actual recovery for that day is. But that's it. It's interesting.
It is interesting. And that the night before, I got a good night's sleep. And like no alarm. I just went to bed.
Yeah.
I went to bed decently early. Didn't set an alarm. Just woke up whenever my body said wake up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had something to do with it.
Could be. I mean, because the higher number indicates that your body is shifting more towards like the rest and relax, like recovery side, the parasympathetic nervous system, and then the lower scores is associated with a shift towards more of the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. And so that's why usually you'll see your HRV drop along with your recovery score.
Right. They usually kind of stay somewhat together.
Yeah. If you see so it's more common to see a drop after training, because that's indicating you're still in that sympathetic nervous system side of things. You're still recovering from it, and so like I said, it's that. But that's why he does that. He mentions it's not whether it's going up or down, because you could look at that and go, oh, so down is bad, up is good. Because up means I'm getting more cardiovascularly fit, right? If you see a trend for up over time, that's good. And on a day-to-day basis, you see that down usually results in a lower recovery score. Like that's the dominant trend. And so that's why you can just think like, oh, higher is good and lower is bad, but it's more nuanced than that. It's taking in those overall things. And so that's why he was trying to... because again, like we've talked about, like HRV is getting to be more common, and so people have no fucking clue what it actually means. They're gonna start telling you what it means,
right?
And so you're gonna hear these just basic nonsensical things like that, like, oh yeah, you basically want your HRV to go up and avoid it going down, and it's like, maybe
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's more nuanced than that, but.
Have you ever had one of those random days where it just shot up real high?
Yeah, I've never been 96, but I've been like 92, 93. I had a day about a week ago where I was like 91. Mm-hmm. So, but I tend to be like, my average is about 80. Like 80 to 85 is where I'm usually.
That's if I look at it right now, I bet you my average is like 70. Let's just say 75.
Yeah.
In that ballpark.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So, yeah, I'm usually in that range. Like if I drop down, like for me, dropping down below 80 is like, whoa, something's fucking off.
Really?
Yeah. I'd say like 80+% of my readings are 80 or more.
I do notice too, like when I get a lack of sleep, just from like get home late and I wake up early, 5 hours of sleep or whatever, it'll drop. It'll drop below 70.
Yeah.
And my body's just struggling. Like,
oh yeah,
you did not recover. Like whatever you did yesterday,
right,
is still with you. Like you did not recover at all.
Yeah. And
you're just doing more damage again today. Good luck.
Yeah. I did think, and I'm sure you probably saw the part we was talking about, like the average per biological age.
Yep.
And using HRV as a way to kind of monitor like what your actual like, I guess like not necessarily like your I don't know what's the word, because you have your chronological age, but then you have like your biological age, I guess. And so like biologically, if the average 40-year-old is at 75 and the average 30-year-old is at 80,
right,
and you're in your 40s and your average is 80, like biologically you're younger.
In theory, you should be doing pretty good. Right?
Yeah, well, it's just the decline, right? Because there's a decline over time. And so just like Steve Maxwell talked about, like muscle mass being one of those things, like you got to start raging against the night to you got to hang on to muscle mass, because everyone hits a point where it starts decreasing, and it's very tough to get back, if not impossible. Not impossible, but like very tough to get back. And so you gotta, strength training is one of those things, but like HRV is one of those things that'll allow you to kind of monitor your cardiovascular side of things, because that's one of those things, like it's gonna decline. And if you're not doing things to try to resist that, and then how do you know what it's doing, right? Like if you're doing some sort of cardiovascular workout, some sort of cardio training, and you don't know what your HRV scores are over time, like how do you know what it's really doing?
Yeah, how are you quantifying what you're doing?
You could be making yourself older. Like you could be smashing yourself into the ground where like your average HRV is 65. And then you look at it and you're like, holy shit, that's like an average fucking 50 or 60 year old, and I'm in my 30s. But I'm just like beating the shit out of myself all the time, and so I never get to recover. And so like having that context for your HRV is, I think it's like it's an invaluable data point. Like if you're serious about your training on any level, you have to have it. If you don't, how do you really know what's going on? You don't. You're guessing.
And even if you are a pretty physical person, you've been training, active most of your life, you think you know your body.
But it's an objective measurement.
Yeah.
Subjective stuff is great.
You're going to be off.
And even Morpheus has that subjective thing, right? How is your sleep?
How is your sleep? How do you feel? Soreness level.
Yep. So it takes that subjective stuff into account, but you have an objective thing. Like that's the thing. Like math and science, they don't care about your feelings.
Exactly.
They don't give a fuck about your feelings.
And that's what I was getting at too. Is you think like, oh, I feel okay, and then you have something objective like that. And like, no, you're kind of fucked up.
Right. Or I think this workout's doing a great job for me, but you can see like, oh shit, my trends are not
improving,
going where I want them to go. So but again, that's why you see it more and more, like more things offer it. But again, that's why I think the Morpheus system, like I don't make anything off of it, right? Like we don't have any affiliation with them. Obviously, the way that he presented the presentation, is going to set up Morpheus as the ultimate solution. Because he's looking at, it depends on where you're taking it and how you're taking it and what formula you're using. Like all of these things matter as to like how accurate that HRV measurement's really going to be. And so when you break it down, like that's he has more experience with HRV training. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he probably has more direct experience with using HRV to train athletes at every level in multiple sports than anyone else in North America. I would make that bet. He invested in an Omega Wave, which cost $10,000+. Like back in, there was like fucking less than a half dozen of them in the country.
Really?
And he had one. Yeah. Like that was the original HRV, is like you had to, I think he talked about that in the presentation, right?
I think he mentioned it.
And that's why he wanted to get something portable, because he felt like, this data is so valuable when these athletes are here, but then they go off and they lose this data point. And then I don't really know what's going on. They don't really know what's going on. We need to figure out how can we continue to monitor this super valuable thing without them here. And so that was he was the guy, like Bioforce. I know there were some other ones back in the day, but he was one of the guys who really was working to get HRV more accessible, because when it costs $10,000 to get the machine, there's not going to be a whole lot of people that have access to it.
Most people aren't going to have it.
No. And so, but he did. So he's had not only all of that data and all that experience from the original Omega Wave days back when nobody was using this shit, but he's one of the pioneers in getting it more accessible for his athletes, and then using it with his athletes to drive their training and programming. Like I said, man, if there's anyone out there who has as much direct experience with this shit as him, like, cool. You're not going to find a whole bunch of them. And so that's why I think the Morpheus system is the best, because he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's making sure that you're doing all of those things optimally to get the best reading, and then teaching you what to do with those things. And so, yeah, like the other stuff is like, people ask me about, this uses HRV or that. And it's like, man, I don't know. Like, I recommend Morpheus. I can't really speak to Garmin or Polar or like the fucking
Aura Ring
or
the Whoop strap,
or I think maybe ones. Like Apple Watch.
Does the Apple Watch have HRV?
I'm sure it probably does. Yeah. So all of these things, like, I don't know, right? I don't know enough about them to tell you, but there's definitely good and bad ways to do it. They're not all the same, and you can get bunk readings from, like, just because it says HRV doesn't mean that it actually means anything.
Yeah, you don't know the science or the algorithms behind it. You have no idea what they're really.
No, man. No. So
calculating and spitting back out to you.
Yeah. Now, especially how Morpheus will give you modified training ranges based on your recovery for that day as well, and calculate training load and all those things. So it's I think it's a super good investment. It's not that much, like $150 or something like that.
I think that's all it was for the most recent one.
Yeah.
In that ballpark.
So
you don't have to have a subscription.
Right, that's it. It's not
a lot of these ones will dupe you into it. I think like the Whoop strap.
Yeah.
It may be a cheaper device.
Yeah, you get started out for $30 a month. It's less than the $150 up front.
But you got to continue to pay that $30 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, get into it for a year, and you're like, dude, do the math. It's like, fuck, man. After a couple years, I've dropped like $1,000 on this thing.
Exactly.
I could have bought the most expensive HRV monitoring unit out there, or what, So, anyways, HRV is good. So, but yeah, I don't know what the 96 means.
It threw me for a loop.
Interesting anomaly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing with training, man. It's trends. And that is the thing. Like, I gotta, when I'm working with clients, getting them to understand is that exact question, right? They'll have this one, dude, I went in the gym and I lifted more weight than I've ever lifted before. What happened? I don't know. There's like this what the heck effect that happens. Like, it's trends over time.
Right.
Or the opposite of, like, I went in and I couldn't, I was so weak, and and then they start panicking. What's wrong?
I'm losing my game.
I'm losing everything. It's like, dude, calm down, see what happens next workout, and the workout after that. Like,
right.
You're gonna have these weird little
one-offs,
blips.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we like to pretend that training is algebra, it's fucking quantum physics.
Right.
Like, we're still feeding shit into a black box, and we're pretty sure it's gonna come out on the other side of the black box, but we don't really know what's going on inside that black box, man. So, yeah, you just gotta account, say, hey, sometimes weird shit's gonna happen inside the black box, but we try to control it as best we can. So,
yep.
Heck yeah.
I'll be interested to see what my recovery score is tomorrow. I'm gonna do 2 training sessions today.
I know, dude.
I did one this morning, 8 a.m. I'm gonna go back again tonight at 5. Good. Wrestle again. It's not smart. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I took the weekend off, so you got to do more so that we keep the
balance
average.
it out. You look healthy and rested today after You didn't train yesterday, so I was expecting I was gonna wear one of those Asian people masks coming over today.
Yeah, I know. No, man. It was Friday. Was just I think it was a combination of things. Just like stress from dealing with this freaking like pedal snafu with this freaking weirdo and in the UK guy. Like this guy's just out of his mind, and so just like that, and then just man, it's a long week, like training, like coaching, and then going in and training Friday and Saturday, and only getting like one day off the mats.
It's tough.
Like mentally. And then, dude, my neck was tight. Like I had it, like the side of my neck gets real sore, and I hadn't been doing a good job of keeping it worked out and like using stuff to, work out the tension. And so, it's just like I got this fucking headache, and Friday I was like, dude, I'm getting sick, and I just slept a little bit, and then got myself to relax and loosen my neck up. Took a little kratom.
Did you?
And all of a sudden, the fucking world was a little bit better.
Yeah, that's how I operate.
Yeah.
Feel like shit, take some kratom.
So
next thing you know, you got an addiction.
Wasn't that bad. I woke up yesterday and I was feeling better, but I was just, I just need...
You want to push it.
Yeah, I just need a little... take a week off, because I want to get, like, hungry to train. Like, that's the problem, is, like, the last few weeks, man, I've kind of been, like, forcing myself to go in and train. I love it. It's good, but it's like... I kind of wanted to take a weekend off so I could be like, fuck. Like, I want to get to the next Friday and be like, dude, I can't wait to get in there.
We'll do it, and we get in. I mean, our schedules are definitely different, but come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're kind of similar. And like I usually have Friday, Saturday, Sundays off, so I try to pack a lot of shit in.
Yeah.
And it was, 2 or 3 weekends ago, I was sick, and so I basically took the whole weekend off from my normal routine. And it felt nice.
Yeah.
It really did, man. I didn't train that Friday night. I didn't do Grumpy Guy or drilling or anything on Saturday. Didn't train Sunday, and I just took it easy. And it is nice to step away from that for a little bit. For a weekend here and there.
It is.
You just need it mentally. You need it physically. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't have to do shit these next 3 days.
And 9 times out of 10, you actually come back and you're like better.
Yeah.
Than when you left off. Like there's this fear that like, man, if I stop training, I'm gonna lose my gains. But it's that weird thing where you can push too hard and kind of dull the edge a little bit, and resting it just kind of lets the mind sharpen back up a hair. Physically and mentally, just get that sharpness back. So I'm already looking forward to going in and training next weekend. But
that's good.
It was just funny, interesting thing on Friday, just getting all stressed out and sick or whatever.
Stress is a motherfucker, man.
It is.
Yeah,
it is, man.
It's funny. They were Aubrey DeGray, like the anti-aging guy who was talking about it on Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah, I listened to his. Yeah, I listened to that one. Yeah,
and something he said, resonated with me. His assumption, and I don't think he didn't have any data to back this up, but the old people, it's a lot of centenarians, a lot of these old ass people that make it a long time.
Yeah.
He made the assumption that a lot of them are just a very stress-free type of person.
They deal with it.
They deal with it.
They don't have
they don't have it, but they let it roll off.
Yeah,
They don't fester.
Yeah.
They just like, okay, however whatever coping mechanism they have is superior. Yeah. Whether they just don't give a fuck or they're rational enough.
Perspective.
But he's like, that seems to be a very common theme. They don't get shaken up.
Yeah. I remember thinking like, dude, I'm killing myself right now. I'm dying.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, dude, I stress about shit all the time. Exactly what I thought when he said that. I was like, dude, I'm going to make it to like 50.
Yeah. Man, I've been doing, I will say, like, that was the thing is, I feel like I've made big strides to that, because I don't think it's where you're at, it's where you end up, right? Like, so probably a lot of those people that have a good perspective at the end may not have had the best in the beginning, right? It's not like just because you get stressed out today, it doesn't mean that you can't figure out how to deal with things better down the road.
Right.
And so I feel like I've done a really good job with that. And that was like one of the most frustrating things is like how I was letting the stress from this situation over here like affect everything else. There were things that normally, man, like I do such a good job of just like letting go and not getting worried about, not stressing out. But it was like, dude, once one thing is kind of festering, it's like you start seeing
the negative and other shit
everywhere. Yeah, everything turns into a fucking fight or flight response. And I realized that at one point. I'm like, dude, I'm in this perpetual fight or flight, response because of this situation, and I keep filtering everything else through this. And this isn't me. I don't want to be this person.
You get that negative filter, and everything gets shoved through it.
Yeah.
And you don't see a positive or anything.
So then now it's not just that situation, but everything's stressing you out. Yep. It's like, fuck.
I do the same thing. Dude.
Yeah.
And sometimes I catch myself early in it, and it's not a major ordeal, but there's times to where something's really stressing you out, and you get stuck in that vicious cycle, and then everything is just pissing you off. It'll go for like a whole day sometimes before I'm like, dude, what? Why am I so angry at this? Something little. Like, God, what is going on here? But it's not easy to do, to take a step back sometimes and be objective about it.
No, yeah. And it's tough too when there's not, like for me, it wasn't me that, there's other people in the situation.
Right.
So I have another person who is, again, like he's contributing to the situation. Obviously, how I respond to the situation is on me, but like I don't have control over the situation.
Right. Only on how you respond.
Yes.
To it.
It's just constant. Like, hey, here's this fucked up thing. Respond well. It's just this constant. Like everything is this fucked up thing, and you gotta like, okay. All right, and eventually you're just like, what the fuck,
you boil over eventually, man. You're human. You can only respond, quote unquote, properly so much.
Right.
Then eventually you're just like,
motherfucker. So
this is enough. But,
yep, I know. That's kind of that was what I got on Friday. So as Keely and I sat down, I was like, we've got to get to some conclusions on these things. Like, and the problem is like I have these 3 different moving parts. I've got like my manufacturer, I've got the pedals that I got from him that require the specialty tool that I still got to figure out how to sell those things. And then I've got my partners over there who had these plans based on this pedal being the future, but now my manufacturer's fucked up, so this pedal is in doubt, so their whole plan's got to fucking change too. So it's not like if I tweak this, it's going to affect everything else.
Right.
And so I had to, do that mental geometry or whatever. Like I had to figure out, like, okay, what is the solution for here is going to create this situation here.
Yeah, how is this going to affect downstream?
So I had to make sure that I had everything in mind, which again is like, that was one of the reasons it was so stressful, because it wasn't a simple solution of like, do this. Because then it was like, okay, but then I got to take this into account and this into account. And so, finally we just got it all laid out, and we're just like, this is what we're doing. And part of it was me emailing him and telling him, like, one, I've told this motherfucker to stop. Before I knew there was a problem with the pedals, I had told him, I'll take another 250 of them. And then like less than a week later, I find out that there is a problem with the pedals and the specialty tool. And I tell him, like, man, we got to get this figured out. Like, don't make any more pedals like this. And this guy's just not listening. I've told him several times, like, stop the order. Don't proceed with the order. We have to put the brakes on the order till we get this figured out. We still don't have this situation figured out. And he's like, just keeps ignoring it. And he'll keep emailing me with updates on where this order is. And I'm like, dude, stop the order. Is he not
reading your other emails?
Stop the order. Like, so I sent him an email on Friday. It was just like, the title was stop the order. And I was just like, motherfucker. I didn't say motherfucker.
Motherfucker, comma.
Comma. I was like, dude, you are, So I told him, like, man, I can't, like, don't make these pedals. Like, I have to sell the pedals that I have before I can get the cash. Like, I've tried to explain this to him. Like, I can't sell these pedals that I have until we find a solution. And he's not helping me find a solution. He's making excuses and then just proceeding with the order. Like, everything's fine. It's like, this guy's like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, what do you do with a crazy person who
can't rationalize with him?
Yeah. Like, he's just simply not dealing with reality. He's just ignoring what he doesn't want to deal with. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So, yeah, I was like, man, you have to stop the order. I don't have the cash. If you tell me you're gonna send me pedals, like I'm gonna tell you I don't have cash. Like, stop the fucking order. I've told you this over and over and over and over again, and I'm done. I'm walking away. Like, I will let you know when I'm ready to come back to this project and figure out what we're gonna do long term. But like, I'm done. Like, I'm stepping back. So, I mean, that's pretty much, you know, what I had to do. And then I got to tell my UK partners, like, well, here's what we're doing. So now we got to start selling this other pedal again. And I had to have a come to Jesus email with them because, you know, they're not following our contract. Like, we have a contract, and they're doing this shit where it's like, you know, they're just not following it and kind of expecting me to call them out on it. And it's like, what the fuck, man? You know, you guys are supposed to be charging the same price as me. You're supposed to be, you know, not doing promotions without me knowing about, like, you guys can't just have carte blanche with my brand over there. Like, that's why I made a fucking contract, was to spell out, and I explained this to you guys in the beginning. So I had to have a fucking come to Jesus email with them. Like, man, like, read between the lines, but if you don't start following the contract, like, you know, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why there's a contract.
That's why there's a contract, man. Exactly. And so, yeah. And then I gotta get 400 fucking specialty tools made up for the Evos. Because that's the only right thing to do, man.
Yeah, you have to.
It's the only right thing to do. And it blows my mind that this motherfucker that in the UK, this manufacturer, like, in one of his emails, he literally said, because we find out after the fact through the grapevine, some customers and shit, that Superstar, the manufacturer who's manufacturing our pedal, they're known in the UK for having shit that requires a specialty tool. Oh. It's just, you know, it's not a big thing.
It's how they operate.
To him, it's how they operate. Now, you know, and he said in his email to me, I find that people enjoy having a special tool for their pedal. I was like, what fucking world do you live in, homie? Like, I can't even, like, who have you talked to that has told you that they actually like that?
Yeah.
Nobody, man.
Nobody wants to have to buy another tool.
No.
Like, why can't I just use an Allen wrench for this, you know, or whatever?
Yeah, or just something I can get.
A socket.
Yeah,
socket,
regular socket,
get an Ace Hardware.
Yep. And so, he's telling me this. It's like, okay, so that's not real. You're making shit up. Like, you don't live in the real world. And he's like, you know, his deal is his pedals are cheap. So he sells a cheap aluminum rebuildable pedal. If you get a cheap, you know, you're saving like $30, $40 off over a comparable pedal, you'll deal with a specialty tool.
Right.
You'll just deal with it. Or you'll throw them away and you'll fucking buy another pair.
Right.
So, and he's like, dude, I only get like 1 out of 25 people who even read, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, you're so fucking clueless. I don't even know how to do business with you because we live in two different worlds. Like, the way that you see the world and the way that has you engage with and treat customers is completely different than the way that I see the world and engage with and treat customers. Like, to me, if I'm going to have a pedal that needs a specialty tool, I should send the specialty tool out.
Yep.
Like,
send it out with the pedal. Like, here you go.
Here you go. Yeah, you're going to need this, so here you go.
Yep.
Like, it's part of the pedal. Like, you shouldn't have to find out when you go to grease your axles and find out, like, oh, I can't get these things off. And now I got to go buy a tool or wait to get it sent or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, I'm like, what world? So that right there, it's like, how do you deal with someone? Like there's so many red flags. Like, this guy does not live in reality. He's ignoring emails I send him. He thinks that people like having a specialty tool. Like, it's fucking, dude, what do I do with this? So, anyways, yeah. You can see, man. Like,
I see you get worked up talking about it.
Dude, it's been like 2 months
Madness.
Of dealing with this. Between him screwing up the order and ordering the wrong blanks, and then this whole scene with the specialty tool, it has literally been 2 months of him creating problems, disappearing and not responding to emails, and then coming back with emails where he completely ignores things that I said, and his entire energy is simply spent on deflecting why things aren't his fault and, you know, making excuses and saying like, well, your concerns aren't valid. Like, we're just going to move forward without addressing them.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah, 2 months of this, man, with like tens of thousands of dollars, you know, in
play also.
Yeah, exactly. This is like merchandise, and I got these blanks that I ordered from him. You know, got $6,000 worth of blanks that he's getting. Some, you know, it's like, I'd rather not just eat that and walk away from it. But man, at this point, I'm ready to do it. Like, I can't keep dealing with this guy. Like, he's the stress that he causes me is not worth $6,000.
No.
I would pay $6,000 to fucking not have to deal with this. Yeah.
Shit.
If you told me I had to deal with this person or pay $6,000, I'd be like, fucking, here you go. Take the 6.
That's
so,
fucked up.
I know.
Yeah.
It is fucked up. So, and then it makes me miss fucking training because my stress.
Your stress.
You know, and that makes me even more mad. That adds to my stress.
Then you're stressed because you're stressed. And then you're stressed because you're not training. But you're not training because you're stressed.
Training. So, there you go.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely get it.
Yeah. As the world turns, shit happens.
It does.
Yeah. But anyways, so I'm past that. So I'm moving forward with my Riding for a Lifetime camp with Bike James. It was fun. I had this epiphany this morning. I was reading this book, Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, it's a pretty well-known psychological phenomenon.
I think I read that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I could go back and read it. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but just the thing where, in it he mentions, and I've read it elsewhere, like I said, it's a pretty well-documented thing, that people will work harder to avert a loss than they will to get an equal gain.
Yeah.
So if I told you do this, or I'm going to take $100 away from you, and then I told you do this and you can earn $100, like they've done all these studies that show that people will work harder to avoid losing the $100 than they will to gain the $100.
Right.
And so I was thinking about, like, man, why did that Riding for a Lifetime camp that I put out there, and just that, if you think about it, why did we drive 9 hours through the desert to go to a Training for a Lifetime camp with Steve Maxwell? I wouldn't have gone to like a Improve Your Jiu-Jitsu camp, right? It was like, because that is averting loss.
Right.
Training for a Lifetime, Riding for a Lifetime, like that is averting a loss. Whereas like me trying to sell you a program that's going to improve your performance, I'm trying to sell you a gain. And people are just way less motivated to work hard to gain something. But if I tell you like, hey, I can help you keep from losing what you have and seeing your performance decline as you get older, and keep doing this for longer at the same level, all of a sudden people are like, fuck yeah, I want that.
Speaking of that, dude, I found a good article. I'm stealing your bro science section.
Yeah.
Actually, let me pull it up on my phone. Hopefully we don't have to use the backup recording because I got it in my hand right now. And it's going to sound all fucked up. But I found a good study talking about resistance training and Alzheimer's. And then, so where are we at? It was done in the University of Sydney, so some crazy Australians. But they found that 6 months of strength training helps protect the area in your brain that's vulnerable to Alzheimer's. That they can put you in MRI and detect the deterioration of that portion. And it's what they did. They had these old people train for 6 months, and then they followed up with their usual activity for like 12 months after, and they still had residual benefits 12 months after from that 6 months of strength training. And it was not only strength training, like they had them lift weights, resistance training, and then they had them doing like some brain games, so to speak, type thing. And they had them doing it at the same time, and then they tracked them over the next year, and they had significant let's not say improvements. They had helped them prevent loss or deterioration in that area of the brain that's linked to Alzheimer's. Yeah. And I thought that was really interesting because if you think about jiu-jitsu is resistance training and problem solving.
Yeah.
It checks both those boxes.
Fuck yeah.
You're trying to solve problems and not get strangled. You're pushing and pulling and you're trying to solve problems. Like, it checks both those boxes. So hopefully us doing jiu-jitsu staves off Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. And it was a newer study. Like, the article came out, I think, just in February of this year. And this guy summed it up. The message is clear. Resistance exercise needs to become a standard part of dementia risk reduction strategies.
Dementia risk reduction. But you know what's funny, though? Our medical system is set up the exact opposite.
What do you mean?
We're not set up to avert loss. We're set up to try to help you gain back after you've already lost something.
Right.
That's, it's not about averting dementia. It's about treating dementia once you get it.
Once you get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously the shift over the years has changed some, but that is still, when you look at our medical system, and that is one of the criticisms of it, is it's set up to deal with disease after it happens, not necessarily keep people from getting disease in the first place.
Yep.
And so, yeah, but that's...
But at least, studies like that come out, so hopefully it trends things in a good direction.
Yeah.
So, I like to bring it up because we got older people in our lives. My dad likes lifting weights, and he talks my mom into it fairly, and she gets on board, and stays on track for a while, and she'll kind of get off, but she's been back on track lately, and it makes me happy. She's down there lifting weights with my dad, whatever they're doing, but yeah, it's good. It's good for you. You got to, and it goes back to what you were talking about, maintaining that muscle mass. Or maintaining it or trying to slow down the loss of it.
Yeah.
But not only good for your body, but it's good for your brain.
It is, man. I mean, it makes sense. Again, this is my total, bro pseudoscience nonsense.
Yes.
But, I mean, it could make sense that if you're not, your brain, how to put it, your brain is monitoring what's going on. It knows your physical condition. And so, if your physical condition gets to a certain point, you got to signal your brain, man, I need you to stay healthy. Tension, life is tension.
Right.
Right? And so, strength training or muscle, whatever it is, it's about, creating high tension in the body so that the fucking, you're signaling the brain, man, I'm still active. I'm still useful. I'm still doing shit. And so, the body, it shuts itself down when it starts to, you reach the end of your fucking useful cycle.
Right.
And so that's the whole thing. The longer that you can push your useful cycle out, the longer until the deterioration and all that shit. And so, it just makes sense. Strength training should help with dementia. Because if you're doing nothing, if you're just, living the dream that so many old people were sold in their youth, which is, man, you're going to work for a company, you're going to get a pension, you're going to retire. And guess what you get to do when you retire?
Sit around doing
nothing. That's the American dream, is sitting around doing nothing, being lazy as fuck. And so, that's what they were sold, that's what you want to do. And so you have all these old people that just don't value, it's the opposite. The more they're having to work and the more they're having to move, it's almost like the worse I did early on.
Right.
Right? If I'd have done things right early on, I wouldn't have to be still so physically active doing shit. And it makes sense, but at the end of the day, it's man, you just got to keep tricking your brain into thinking that it needs to stay active and around, because as soon as it thinks that, man, I'm not serving a role here, it's going to start shutting down.
Yep.
And so, and that's, like I said, jiu-jitsu is a great way to do that, which is, the strength training and the mental training, it's telling the brain, man, I still need you. I'm still doing shit.
Dude, I work with a guy. I give him a hard time all the time. He's a good dude. I always call him old man. But he's going to be 70 this year.
Wow.
He's out there doing the same job I am, and he doesn't need to. He's retired military.
Yeah.
He makes plenty of money from his military benefits. He could live on that. He doesn't live a lavish lifestyle. He's not one of those guys that has a bunch of toys and stuff.
Yeah.
He just does the job because it keeps him active and he enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
He's outside getting exercise for a lot of the same reasons, I don't mind it. He's outside getting exercise, just doing his thing, and he's going to be 70 this year. He still gets around good, and just doing it. And he recognizes it. He's like, what am I going to do? Sit around all day?
Yeah.
Spend my money? You know what I mean?
It's becoming cliche.
Yeah. So it's cool. I'm pumped whenever I see him. He's there at work just plugging away. I'm like, what's up, old man? And you're milking it again today because he doesn't need to work. You know what I mean? I was like, you're just in here milking it. I was like, you could be sucking up all that free government money and you're just in here stealing money from us. Now, he's a good dude. But 70 years old and still getting around good, man.
Yeah. So, like you said, he recognized it. Yep. It's staying active, man. And that's another, I would say that along with handling stress well, being active is probably one of those common threads you find among centenarians or whatever. They continue to be active and continue to be useful to themselves and their communities in some way. So, can't separate that shit from all that. So, we need it.
We do.
We need it. So, move, people.
Stay moving.
Stay moving. That's why you can't quit jiu-jitsu.
That's not even an option.
No.
Not in my world.
Speaking of which, on a little side note, I let Shiloh quit track.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
She didn't want to do it, huh? I'm kind of surprised at that. I thought she was kind of digging it.
No, I mean, she likes running.
Uh-huh.
But, track's different. Racing and running are two different things. Two different things.
What about cross? Wasn't she playing with cross country for a minute?
A little bit, but yeah, that was where she went out and they were like having her run in like 102 degree heat, and it was like, yo man, like this is not necessarily safe. Like the reason I pulled her from cross country, I picked her up a couple times when it was fucking visually obvious that there was some heat distress going on.
Uh-huh.
And like the coaches were just like oblivious to it. It was a little fucking irresponsible on their end, like, so I pulled it because I felt it was a dangerous situation. Like I literally felt like this is a dangerous situation for her to be in. Like, yes, she needs better conditioning, but she hasn't been out. Like that's the thing. Like, she hasn't been out running these distances in 102 degree heat. She doesn't have to. She's been getting up in the morning and running, and so there's obviously a conditioning effect that needs to happen, but to not have some sort of, I don't know, like I said, that's why I let her quit that. But and then the track, man, the problem with Fruta is it's a way too big of a school.
Mm-hmm.
So man, she said something like 140 kids go out for track.
Whoa.
Yeah. So again, you're just lost in the crowd. You're just a fucking number.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really know anyone. So all the people that did track last year that she knew are doing some other sport this year. And so she literally knew nobody on the team. And it just
wasn't fun.
It just wasn't fun. Yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, all right, why am I having her do this? Like, what is going on here? And because my instinct is like, she needs to see it through. You need to do it. And I'm like, why? What am I doing here? Because she's been doing really good with so many other things. Like she's doing jiu-jitsu and doing really well with her workouts, and she's going and running, and she's, like she's been doing great in so many other areas. That like the purpose of track used to be, okay, look, you need some discipline, you need to work on these things because you're not doing anything on your own necessarily, and then a little socializing as well. They're just like, okay, well now she's socializing, she's got friends, she's going to classes at school, she's doing really well with these other areas. So like, it really kind of boils down to like, the only reason she's doing it is because I'm making her do it.
Right.
And like, what, like why? Why am I just making her do it? So I was like, yeah, I mean, you're doing really good. So it doesn't make sense for me to throw something, like you're doing so good right now.
Let's punish you.
Yeah, let's punish you. Let's make you do something you really don't want to do.
Let's punish you for doing good.
Yeah. For no reason. Like this isn't, it's not even like, again, I love her to death, but it's not like she stepped on the track and was like, oh, you're a natural talent and you have a chance to maybe like go somewhere with this. Right. And so you really kind of owe it to yourself, like to see where you could go with this, kind of like her art is.
Right.
It's like you owe it to yourself to see where you can go with this talent. There's something to be said for pushing a kid if that's the case. But
those are few and far between.
Yeah, few and far
between.
Those
are so few and far between.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, all right, man, you're getting these lessons, you're getting everything else. So what's the point of this? So yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So there you go. Let her quit. Sometimes knowing when to quit something is just as important as knowing when to not quit.
It is.
I mean, I've quit lots of shit in my life, man.
Yeah, I've tried and quit a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A ton of shit.
Yeah.
You got to try stuff. And that's what part of growing up is. Try things. And then you just go out there and keep trying things. You'll find something you really like.
Yeah. That's right. And then, except for jiu-jitsu. You got to do jiu-jitsu. Yeah, you can't quit that.
I rolled with it. I rolled with her yesterday.
Yeah.
She's doing pretty good.
She is, man.
She got me an arm bar a couple times.
It's when she thinks, there's like, she knows what to do, and when she thinks about it, she does really well. But there's so much when she's just like, just grabbing and moving, and it's just like, she doesn't really have, she's not, her mind isn't necessarily focused on like, what am I trying to do? It's just moving. And she's doing way better, and that's what we're working with her on. But it's funny to see that, because she'll just be moving. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And she'll be like, oh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, then do blah blah blah. Oh, okay. And then it's like, whoa, okay, that's blah blah blah. All right, like, like yeah. So it's funny, man, seeing that when the mind switches on and you do what you know. like, oh, jiu-jitsu works.
You're not just doing stuff to do stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's good. I think it helps her see like the flashes. It's like me drawing Snorlax. It's like you too can do jiu-jitsu if you know the steps, right? So I'm not the greatest artist, but if I know the steps, I can draw Snorlax.
That's good.
So
remember when I was a kid, I loved Garfield, the Garfield cartoon, the books and the comics as a kid. And I was on that kick for a long time drawing Garfield. I got pretty good at drawing all the Garfield characters.
Oh, right on, yeah.
I forget the artist who does Garfield. Damn it, what's his name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he's got a certain style,
right.
You know, and how he draws all his characters.
Yeah.
I got pretty good at it. At least in my mind, I thought I was pretty good at it.
Hey man, I'm sure it's pretty good. You practice at something. It's hard to not get good at something. If you practice something enough and you're trying to get better at it, you know what I mean? Like, I want to draw better. I want to draw better, and I want to draw better. Like, if that's, it's, I don't know. Obviously, there's ways to speed it up, but like that's what the human brain. Like, you give it that problem, it will figure it out. That's the difference between just like mindlessly doing shit. If you just like keep doing the same shit every day, so it's not spending time doing something isn't necessarily going to get you better. It's like having that specific goal with that time. It's going to help get you better. Yep. So I guess you can waste that time. Just keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, just keep doing the same dumb shit over and over.
Yeah. People do that quite a bit.
Yeah, I do that quite a bit.
It's the difference between 10 years experience in the same 1 year, 10 years in a row. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do, man. They have the same 1 year repeated over and over and over again. And then 10 years down the road, it's like, I mean, you haven't really learned anything. You know, you haven't like...
You're just doing the same shit.
It's just the same shit over and over. Like, you don't really have 10 years of experience that you can use now to fucking be better. It's like, yeah. But anyways. So, what?
I was going to say, that might be a good spot to end it, dude. We're an hour in.
Are we?
I got to go home and eat. I got to record again and
Okay.
train again. So if you don't mind.
No, man.
Good.
No.
I might call it good.
I had a thing I'll throw out and then we can discuss it later.
Okay.
But I think we're teaching arm bars wrong. Arm bars from mount.
Okay.
So,
we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
Usually pretty decent.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
So, sounds good, man.
Sweet. Cool.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
With a permanent friend, a hermit now, boom. Doggy stool, foggy, cool, got a froggy, Alzheimer, dude. Melancholy, Daisy Duke, hanging by the lace of their shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped in your face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One eye always open, at times two, no clue. But soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do.